In addition, her adaptability to changes in the music industry, including shifts in distribution, streaming, and digital engagement, has allowed her to remain visible and accessible in an environment that is constantly evolving, ensuring that her work continues to reach audiences through multiple channels and platforms. There is also a level of consistency in quality that reinforces her position, as each project reflects a high standard of production, songwriting, and execution, which contributes to maintaining trust with her audience, because over time, listeners come to expect a certain level of depth and coherence in her work. As her influence grows, her role in shaping the direction of modern music becomes more apparent, not just through her own releases, but through the impact her approach has on other artists and the industry as a whole, influencing how music is created, presented, and consumed in the current landscape. And while her journey continues to evolve, the underlying principles that have guided her remain consistent, including a focus on storytelling, a commitment to authenticity, a willingness to adapt, and a clear understanding of how to balance artistic expression with strategic planning. These principles have allowed her to build a career that is not only successful in the short term, but sustainable over the long term, demonstrating that evolution in the music industry is most effective when it is guided by both creativity and intention. Looking ahead, her path will likely continue to include new experiments, new directions, and new phases that reflect both personal growth and changes in the broader cultural environment, and each of these phases will contribute to the ongoing development of her identity as an artist. And as each chapter is added to her story, the larger picture becomes more defined, showing a career that is not static, but continuously progressing, not confined to a single genre or era, but expanding across multiple dimensions of creativity and influence. In the end, her evolution represents more than just a series of changes. It represents a deliberate and ongoing process of growth, adaptation, and refinement, where each decision builds upon the last, creating a legacy that is shaped not only by what she has already achieved, but by how she continues to move forward and as that journey continues to unfold. One of the most significant underlying factors behind her sustained evolution is her ability to maintain creative control over her work, ensuring that her artistic direction is not only consistent with her vision but also protected from influences that could dilute its authenticity, and this level of control allows her to operate with a sense of independence that is rare at her level of success. This independence plays a crucial role in how her projects are developed, because it means that decisions regarding sound, themes, presentation, and overall direction are aligned with her intentions rather than being dictated solely by external expectations, and that alignment contributes to the coherence that can be observed across her body of work. At the same time, her willingness to collaborate with other creators has also contributed to her evolution, as working with different producers, writers, and artists introduces new perspectives and ideas that can influence the direction of her music, adding layers of diversity while still maintaining a recognizable core identity. These collaborations are often carefully selected to complement her style rather than overshadow it, ensuring that each partnership enhances the final result while preserving the integrity of her artistic voice, and this selective approach reflects a strategic understanding of how collaboration can be used as a tool for growth. Another important dimension of her continued relevance is her ability to engage with cultural moments in a way that feels natural rather than forced, allowing her work to reflect or respond to the broader context of the time without appearing disconnected from her established identity, and this responsiveness helps maintain a sense of immediacy in her music. At the same time, she avoids over-reliance on external trends by ensuring that her work remains rooted in personal expression, which prevents her from becoming overly dependent on shifts in the industry and instead positions her as someone who can stand independently regardless of changing circumstances. There is also a noticeable pattern in how she approaches transitions between projects, where each new phase is introduced with a level of clarity that helps audiences understand the direction she is taking, reducing confusion and allowing listeners to engage with the evolution in a more meaningful way. This clarity is often achieved through a combination of visual presentation, thematic consistency, and gradual introduction of new elements, all of which work together to create a smooth transition that feels intentional and well-structured. Over time, this approach has contributed to a sense of anticipation around her work, as audiences have come to expect not just new music, but a complete experience that includes narrative, visuals, and conceptual depth, and that expectation further reinforces her position as an artist who delivers more than just individual tracks. In addition, her ability to maintain a consistent level of quality across different projects has helped reinforce trust among her audience, because consistency creates reliability, and reliability encourages continued engagement, which is essential for sustaining long-term interest. As her influence continues to expand, her presence in the industry also serves as a reference point for other artists, demonstrating how it is possible to build a career that evolves over time while maintaining a strong sense of identity, and this influence extends beyond her own work into the broader practices of music creation and presentation. There is also a long-term perspective that becomes more apparent as her career progresses, where decisions are not just evaluated based on immediate outcomes, but also on how they contribute to her overall trajectory, ensuring that each step aligns with a broader vision rather than existing in isolation. This perspective allows her to approach her career with a sense of continuity, where each project is part of a larger sequence rather than a standalone effort, creating a cohesive narrative that reflects both artistic growth and strategic planning. At the same time, her ability to maintain personal boundaries within a highly visible career remains an important aspect of her overall stability, as it allows her to preserve certain aspects of her life that are not subject to constant public scrutiny, providing a necessary balance between exposure and privacy. That balance contributes to her longevity by preventing overexposure, reducing unnecessary pressure, and allowing her to maintain a sense of normalcy despite the scale of her career, which is an important factor in sustaining long-term well-being. As new opportunities continue to emerge within the evolving landscape of the music industry, her ability to evaluate and respond to those opportunities will play a role in shaping the next stages of her journey, ensuring that she remains adaptable while still maintaining control over her direction. And while the specifics of what comes next may continue to change, the underlying framework that supports her career remains consistent, built on a combination of creativity, discipline, awareness, and strategic execution that allows her to navigate both opportunities and challenges effectively. In the broader context, her evolution represents a model of how an artist can grow over time without losing identity, demonstrating that success is not limited to a single phase, but can be sustained through continuous adaptation, thoughtful decision-making, and a commitment to maintaining quality across all aspects of work. And as her journey continues to develop, each new phase will add to the depth of her story, expanding her influence, reinforcing her position within the industry, and contributing to a legacy that is defined not only by achievements, but by the consistency and intention behind them. Ultimately, her continued evolution reflects a career that is still in motion, still adapting, and still shaping itself in response to both internal vision and external changes, and as long as that dynamic remains active, her presence in the music industry will continue to be both relevant and influential, representing a long-term example of how sustained growth can be achieved through a combination of artistry, strategy, and awareness. And as this ongoing progression continues, it becomes increasingly evident that her ability to sustain relevance is not only tied to what she creates, but also to how she understands the relationship between time, audience, and cultural context, because in an environment where attention spans are constantly shifting, maintaining engagement requires more than consistency. It requires a sense of timing and relevance that aligns with the current moment while still preserving long-term value. Her career demonstrates a clear awareness of how to position work in a way that maximizes impact without relying solely on frequency, meaning that each release carries weight, each announcement generates anticipation, and each era is introduced with intention, creating a cycle of engagement that remains strong over time. This approach reflects a deeper understanding of audience psychology, where anticipation often enhances reception, and where carefully managed visibility can be more effective than constant presence, allowing her to maintain interest without overwhelming the audience or diminishing the significance of her work. At the same time, her ability to maintain artistic integrity while navigating commercial success is a key factor in her continued influence, because balancing creativity with market expectations is one of the most challenging aspects of a long-term career, and doing so successfully requires both clarity of vision and confidence in execution. Throughout her evolution, she has shown a consistent ability to prioritize authenticity, ensuring that her work reflects genuine expression rather than conforming entirely to external demands. And this commitment to authenticity is a major reason why her audience remains connected across different phases of her career. There is also a structural element to how her career has been developed, where each phase builds upon the previous one in a way that creates continuity, allowing her to transition between styles, themes, and approaches without disrupting the overall trajectory of her work. This continuity contributes to a sense of progression that audiences can follow, making her career feel like an ongoing narrative rather than a collection of unrelated projects, and that narrative quality adds depth to the overall experience of engaging with her music. In addition, her ability to manage scale has been a defining characteristic of her career, as her influence has grown from national recognition to global prominence, requiring adjustments in how projects are planned, executed, and delivered to accommodate a much larger and more diverse audience. Managing that scale involves coordination across multiple aspects, including production, distribution, promotion, and audience interaction, all of which must align to ensure that each release reaches its full potential while maintaining consistency in quality and presentation. Another important aspect of her continued relevance is her responsiveness to feedback, not in a reactive or dependent way, but as part of an ongoing process of refinement, where insights from past experiences inform future decisions, contributing to continuous improvement over time. This iterative approach allows her to evolve in a way that is informed by both internal reflection and external observation, creating a feedback loop that supports growth while maintaining stability in direction. There is also an element of adaptability in how she engages with different formats and platforms, ensuring that her work remains accessible across various channels where audiences consume music and content, which is essential in a digital environment where distribution methods continue to evolve. By maintaining flexibility in how her work is presented and accessed, she ensures that her presence remains relevant across changing technological landscapes, allowing her to reach audiences through multiple touchpoints without compromising the integrity of her work. As her career continues to progress, her influence extends beyond her own releases, contributing to broader discussions about artistic ownership, creative control, and the evolving role of artists in the modern music industry, where independence and strategic awareness are becoming increasingly important. Her journey also highlights the importance of long-term planning, where success is not viewed as a fixed endpoint but as an ongoing process that requires continuous attention, adjustment, and commitment to maintaining both quality and relevance over time. And within that process, resilience remains a key factor, as the ability to navigate challenges, adapt to changes, and maintain focus despite external pressures is essential for sustaining a career at this level, particularly in an industry that is constantly shifting. As new phases emerge, each one contributes to the broader narrative of her career, adding new dimensions to her identity as an artist while reinforcing the core principles that have guided her from the beginning, creating a balance between continuity and evolution. Looking forward, her path will likely continue to involve a combination of creative exploration, strategic decision-making, and audience engagement, all of which will play a role in shaping the direction of her work and the impact it continues to have.